chaos of Mordheim is a hungry mouth that devours even the sturdiest of structures. One moment standing, the next reduced to rubble. But this destruction isn't the end. It's merely the turning of the page. Because from that very wreckage, we rise to forge new stories, breathing life back into the ruins. I really want this part of the board to be purely modular, and it never really fits seamlessly along this edge. When something like this happens, it's easy to get devastated, but I always look at the potential and ways that I can improve this board. I'm envisioning a new structure that's much more playable, and I've leveled up a lot since last time visiting the tower board, and there was a lot more damage than I anticipated, so we're gonna have to upgrade this thing. To prevent damage from hurting us in the future, I'm gonna start by reinforcing the foundation. This is where the journey truly begins, not with a rigid blueprint, but with the foundation of an idea. The beauty of Mordheim's architecture lies in its improvisation. These initial choices, seemingly simple, will dictate the unpredictable path this building will take and lay the groundwork, and the city's chaotic spirit will guide our hand. This round part of the foundation is going to give birth to a turret. I spent a lot of time bricking out and putting in a window in this section, and it wasn't big enough, so I grabbed an old terrain build and I stuck it into place. For the doorway, I wanted an arch, so I grabbed a spray paint lid and I just pressed it into the foam. This is a really nice, easy method. If you need them at different widths, you can always just squeeze the lid and it will come out with different shapes. I textured this with a lump of concrete and punched out the bricks with a paintbrush. I crimped into a rectangle. I have another video on this. If you're interested, you can check out the card. And the doorway here is an STL that's free on my Patreon. If you're interested, you can go check it out. I drew and cut out a nice shape for the peak of the roof, and then I just pressed in the windows, cut out the spaces with hand cut balsa wood strips and air dry clay. And then I textured the air dry clay with a lump of concrete I found on a hike. I add a lot of texture because I'm not the best painter, so I need things to kind of steal the show a bit. One of those things are gargoyles, so I got these plastic fish a while ago, and I'm going to be sticking these everywhere that I can, just to kind of give people a face that captures the eye and kind of distracts from my shoddy craftsmanship. I do a video every week, so finding time savers is probably the thing I'm best known for. 3D printers are a really good use for that. I 3D modeled a roof, that way I don't have to scratch build this. Obviously, I could scratch build this, but do I have the time to do that? Not necessarily. As we build these seemingly random shapes, imagine the countless player interactions they will inspire on the tabletop. Will a warrior risk the climb to the precarious upper level for a better shot? Will a cunning leader use this collapsed section as cover for a daring advance? The structure itself is becoming a silent participant in the unfolding narrative. As I'm adding all these overhangs, these nooks and crannies, what I'm really doing is giving myself and the other players options. I want to encourage creative thinking. If you're a warrior in Mordheim, you're trying to find a way out, you're trying to find an advantage, and having all these options really helps with replayability. This board is modular, but it's not super modular. You're revisiting the same streets, and having that knowledge will give you an advantage. And if something didn't work out last time, you'll have a different option to try this time. Want to watch me pour way too much glue? Yikes. So, this was sort of a mistake. I used most of it. What I did to absorb a lot of the moisture was I poured sand all over it, and then any excess sand and glue I wiped off with a paper towel, and it more or less fixed the issue. If you need windows for your builds, I have STLs on my Patreon that you can download for free. But that doesn't help those of you who don't have 3D printers. So I'm gonna put a listing of 20 windows on eBay for like 12 bucks or so plus shipping. I have 4 of these that are ready right now. So if you're interested, go check out the link in the description. This will just help fund some of my videos. If STLs or 3D prints of windows don't interest you, I also have a merch store where I sell designs that I draw myself. I'm actually working on another one right now. I've had this one for almost 2 years, and the screen print is like holding on real strong. So these are good quality prints. Now that I have all these boards finished, I have a really cool opportunity to kind of see how these boards connect to each other and really make them modular. And this is a perfect example of how to do this successfully. I didn't do that much comparing between the two because I really wanted this to look good on its own, but putting them together really makes this look like one building. And I mean, that was honestly kind of lucky. I didn't do that much measuring, so yeah, that worked out pretty cool. So let's get this thing painted and see how it turns out. All right, let's get painting. I like to make my bricks look more like limestone rather than like a red brick color. And I start with a yellow and then I desaturate it with overpainting with a tan. And I also did the inside stucco colors as well. For all the woods, I've been really enjoying doing a gray dead wood and then mixing in a bit of a moss color. It's kind of hard to see here, but I mix these colors very loosely on my palette so that when I streak on this paint with the fan brush, it works in a wood grain with one brush stroke. I wanted that green algae color more towards the bottom and a lighter dark gray color towards the top. And I went ahead and did all the wood at the same time, then moved over to the stucco where I went for a rich golden brown, and then also went over that with a tan to desaturate it a bit. To help streamline gameplay, I color all my windows and doorways with a bright green color. This is supposed to look like oxidized copper, but it's a really easy way to designate something that people can shoot from and enter in as well. If you've made it this far into the video and you liked it, make sure you like, comment, because it really makes a difference on how well this video performs. It's actually kind of weird, actually. We're also 10 subscribers away from 6,000 subscribers, which is mind-boggling. Thank you guys so much for your support either way, and thank you so much to my patrons. I genuinely